As appropriately, we are socially distanced at the cabinet meeting this evening. We do still have to meet in person as it stands because there's no provision for meetings virtually at the moment, although that may change in some legislation that the government's looking to bring forward. But there's some important decisions that we're bringing forward tonight. The quorum of cabinet is 4. We've got 5 here tonight, but we've not deliberately stood people down so that we've not got everybody here to reflect what's going on. So first of all, I'll take apologies for absence. So Councillor Chatterton, Councillor Roberts and Councillor Mushtaq. Thank you. I've not been notified of any urgent business, so we can move on to item 3, to declarations of interest. Do any members have any interest that they need to declare relating to items of business? No. Thank you very much. That means no. I've not been notified of any public questions under item 4. So item 5 is the minutes of the cabinet meeting as detailed on pages 1 to 10. Any comments or observations on those minutes? Silence to me, no. So those are agreed. Thank you. So item 6 is the Northern Routes project. Are you going to speak briefly to this, Abdul?
Yes, Chair, very briefly. So this project is about bringing back into use 160 acre of land that we've got located adjacent to Alexander Park, and it will be the UK largest urban and eco park. We've had a report on this previously. The report tonight we want a decision to create a governance structure to take the next phase of the project forward. So it's detailed in the report. I'm quite happy, Chair, for members to ask any questions. The recommendation of the report is on page 12, which is basically seeking approval for a charity to be set up and then delegating the authority to the Director of Communities and Reform to appoint further directors of the board with ratification by the board itself.
Thanks, Councillor Jabbar. So we want to establish a charity for the Northern Routes project so that we can access external funding.
And take the project to the next phase of the development.
Okay. Do members agree to the recommendations as set out on page 12? Agreed. Thank you. Item 7, Oldham Green New Deal strategy. Councillor Jabbar again.
Thank you, Chair. So this is an exciting strategy. I believe Oldham is the first council in the whole of the UK to establish a new Green New Deal strategy, which sets out what we want to achieve in respect of all the green issues, including how the council itself can become a carbon neutral borough by the year 2030. Before that, you recall that we agreed for the council itself to become carbon neutral by the year 2025, which basically means all our operation buildings and street lighting. I think, Chair, genuinely this is an exciting strategy which will help us to deliver many things by working with the key partners within our borough to tackle climate change and actually decarbonise our environment. Again, I'm quite happy to take any questions that people may have.
Thanks, Councillor Jabbar. I don't think anybody can underestimate how challenging a target being a carbon neutral borough is by 2030, but it's more ambitious than many other boroughs around the country, if not, well, more ambitious than any that I'm aware of, and we aim high and hope to reach it. So any comments or observations on this report or questions? No. Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Jabbar. Are the recommendations agreed? Agreed. Good. Okay. Moving on. Item 9, charging order and insolvency policy. Councillor Jabbar again.
Sorry, item 8, Chair. The revenue monitoring capital.
Yeah, missed one. Revenue monitoring capital investment programme.
Yeah. So this is a regular report that we bring, Chair, every quarter to the cabinet. So this one's at the end of month 9, December 2019, and gives you an update on both revenue and capital positions. So in terms of revenue, we're predicting that by the end of the financial year, there will be a positive variance of 0.065 million. And we're expecting that the capital programme spent to be just over £52 million. Again, Chair, as you know, that we try to manage the finances of this authority quite robustly, and going off by the previous experiences, I'm quite confident that we'll be able to deliver this current year budget in line with the projection that we've got, and the capital spend is going to be roughly around 50 million. Again, happy to take any questions from anyone.
Any questions or observations? It's a routine report, this. No. Does Cabinet accept the recommendations? Thanks, and thanks Councillor Jabbar for taking us through that. Item 9 then, charging order and insolvency policy. Councillor Jabbar.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So this is an update report. We made some changes because of the changes in legislation, and we've also changed some procedures. Nothing major. There's still major safeguards before we actually take any action to put a charge order. So this is a refresh of the policy, and I'm asking colleagues to approve the refresh.
Does any member wish to speak on this? No. Do we consent to the refresh of the charging order and insolvency policy? Agreed. Thanks, Cabinet. Item 10 then is the local taxation and benefits discretionary policies 2020-21. Councillor Jabbar.
Thank you, Chair. Again, it's an updated paper, Chair, but you realise, given what's going on at the moment with our economy and obviously the impact of the coronavirus, we're having to change lots of policies and discretionary benefit that's available. My guess is that will continue as government announce more policies. So as well as asking you to approve what's before you today, we're also requesting that you actually give delegated power to myself and the Finance Director for any additional changes that the government announced for us to make locally here. The recommendations are set out on page 2 of the report, item 3 I'm talking about. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions members may have.
Do any members have any questions for Councillor Jabbar? No? No. Okay, so the Cabinet agree the recommendations?
Agreed.
Thank you. So that takes us on to item 11, which is the selection of the developer partner. That takes us on to item 11, which is the selection of the developer partner for Fitton Hill. In the absence of Councillor Roberts, I'll speak briefly to this report. This is a decision that has been taken to pool the land holdings of both the council and Forviva, who control a number of properties already in the area. It includes what I describe as the network of roads in Fitton Hill that don't currently serve any properties or any buildings. It's a brownfield site, which obviously as a council we want to bring forward for development to offset the implications for our green belt in the Greater Manchester Spatial Framework. And what we are proposing to make a decision on tonight is to select bidder A from the outcome of our successful tender process, which will see 363 new homes built on Fitton Hill on brownfield sites again. All of those properties will meet space standards for homes and will be compliant with Building for Life and Secure by Design status. And the social value of what bidder A is offering is 10 full-time training places, 30 months work experience placements, and partnering with our own Get Oldham working scheme. So this is an example quite early on into our new Creating a Better Place programme of where we are trying to maximise the social value of the investments that we make, and we are working with partners to deliver on a number of fronts, be it building new homes because we need them, developing brownfield sites to offset the implications for our green belt, and also creating new jobs and training opportunities for local residents. So I'm proposing tonight the recommendations in this report, which are to approve that the contract is awarded to bidder A, and the other recommendations are further detailed on page 130. There is some information in the confidential part of this meeting which we will hear before making a decision, but provided Cabinet are in agreement with what I have mentioned, we will make the decision later in part B of this meeting. Any questions, observations? No? Oh, go on,
Just
Councillor.
a quick observation, Chair. This land actually falls into my ward as well, and I fully welcome this initiative. That this is a piece of land that's been sitting idle for a number of years, looking for a suitable developer, and it attracted a lot of fly tippers and antisocial behaviour. So, as a ward councillor as well as a member of the Cabinet, I fully welcome this and look forward to actually having more properties developed for people who actually need these properties, and also welcome the fact that Viva, which is the local housing provider, is actually in a joint partnership because they've got a lot of properties in Fitnell at the moment which are being managed very well, and I look forward to this project and for it to become fruitious. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Raymond. I think this area of Fitnell is one example of where, in my own area, where there are questions about whether Greenbelt will be released for development, and also in Royton and other parts of the borough, people are saying, well, why don't you do that bit of Fitnell where the roads already exist and where the infrastructure already exists? And I think I can answer those questions by saying that we are doing now, provided we make this decision this evening. So thank you for your comments, Councillor Raymond. We'll move on. I think that is the last item of business that can be considered in public. So now we move to exclusion of the press and public. This is mover and seconder.
Moved. Second.
Wonderful. Okay, cameras off. Thank you.